Progress.
How come I can't hear him?
The floor is yours,
Good morning, everybody. I think we're getting some background noise from, on the call, so if you're here to attend, please mute yourself until you need to speak. So with that, I will call to order the Public Improvement Commission hearing of August 10th, 2023. Mr. Lining, please take a roll call.
Certainly. Would the representative from the Public Works Department please state his or her name for the record?
Yasha Franklin Hodge.
Inspectional Services Department?
Ryan Ronan.
Water and Sewer Commission?
Denise Devlin?
Disabilities Commission?
Sarah Leon?
And we have nobody from Property Management or Transportation, but we do have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. On to our first item today, at the hearing minutes, at the request of the Public Improvement Commission staff, the acceptance of the minutes of the PIC hearing held on July 27th, 2023. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Catherine Flaherty, can you please mute yourself?
Sorry.
No worries. On to our next agenda item, utility pole hearing number 1 on a joint petition by Eversource Energy and Verizon New England Incorporated for utility pole installation within Crosstown Avenue, Public Way, West Roxbury, to relocate one private utility pole to be located on its northerly side, generally at address numbers 1 through 7 west of Center Street. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, give a brief overview of the project, and then we'll open it up for commissioners to ask questions, followed by PIC staff and public comment.
Hi, good morning. This is Catherine Flaherty from Eversource Electric. We are asking to relocate that pole approximately 18 feet west from the current location that it's in because of new construction there. There's a driveway. I can share the plan with you.
That would be great.
You can see that. Just a second.
While Katie's doing this, I will just mention that this section of Crosstown Ave is actually a private way. We're bringing this to the commission just kind of for clarity's sake and so that everybody understands what's going on. But just wanted to make that clear.
There we go. Okay. Can you see the plan now?
Yep.
Yes. So here's the, this is the pole now where it is located, and then we're asking to relocate it right over here out of the way of the new driveway.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? PIC staff or members of the...
Nope. Ashley, you're all set on this?
Yes, we have one citizen up here that's just kind of checking out to see what's going on, but no comments as of now.
Ashley, you're muted.
Oh, you can't hear the room?
Or the room is muted, I should say.
Okay, well, we're good.
All set. Thank you.
All right, hearing no other comments or questions and seeing no raised hands from members of the public, do I hear a motion to approve utility pole hearing number 1?
I'll make a motion to approve utility pole hearing number 1 on a joint petition by Eversource Energy and Verizon New England Incorporated for utility pole installation within Crosstown Ave, Public Way, West Roxbury, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed or abstained? So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On to our first public hearing on a petition by the Boston Redevelopment Authority, DBA, Boston Planning and Development Agency, for the acceptance of 2 pedestrian easements adjacent to the following public ways in Boston proper: Hudson Street on its westerly side at address numbers 49 to 63, generally between Newland Street and Harvard Street; Tyler Street on its easterly side at address numbers 48 to 58, generally between Newland Street and Harvard Street. This was new business on July 27th and is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Pedestrian Easement Plan 55 Hudson Street, Boston proper, one sheet dated May 4th, 2023. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, provide a brief reintroduction to the project, and report back on any changes or outstanding questions from your new business here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angie Liu, and I am the Executive Director of the Asian Community Development Corporation, which is the proponent for this project at 55 Hudson Street, also known as Parcel R1. Parcel R1 is a site currently owned by the Boston Planning and Development Agency. This site on Hudson Street is located in the heart of Boston's Chinatown and has long been advocated by the Chinatown community for its conversion from a parking lot to community uses, including affordable housing. The proposed project will consist of a 12-story building that you see here, consisting of a new branch of the Boston Public Library on the first 2 floors, which Chinatown has not had for about half a century. And the upper floors will consist of 110 residential units, which will be affordable, with 44 homeownership units and 66 rentals. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan Hedlund from Niche Engineering.
Yes, I'm Jonathan Hedlund with Niche Engineering on behalf of the proponent. I'll first talk about the pedestrian easements. So we're proposing 2 pedestrian easements, one along Hudson Street and one along Tyler Street. The one along Hudson Street will be approximately 2.5 feet by 151 feet. The one along Tyler Street will be approximately 0.8 feet by 200 feet.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments? PIC staff or members of the public?
No, I'm all set here.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 1?
I'll make a motion to approve public hearing number 1 on a petition by the Boston Redevelopment Authority for the acceptance of 2 pedestrian easements along the following public ways: Hudson Street and Tyler Street, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? So moved. On to public hearing number 2 on a joint petition by Asian Community Development Corporation and the Boston Redevelopment Authority, DBA, Boston Planning and Development Agency, for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Boston proper, consisting of curb and sidewalk reconstruction with structural soil, as well as new and relocated specialty pavement, street lighting infrastructure, street trees, irrigation infrastructure, bike racks, and curb cuts. Hudson Street on the westerly side at address number 4963, generally between Newland Street and Harvard Street. Tyler Street on its easterly side at address numbers 48 to 58, generally between Newland Street and Harvard Street. So it's new business on July 27th, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repairs Plan, Hudson Street, Tyler Street, 49 to 63 Hudson Street, Public Way, Boston, 4 sheets dated May 18th, 2023. Would the proponents please reintroduce themselves and their affiliations, and then provide us with an overview of this particular set of actions and any updates since your last hearing.
Good morning. I'm Jonathan Hudlin with Niche Engineering on behalf of the proponent. First, the specific repairs along Hudson Street. So this consists of new vertical granite curb, new cement sidewalk facilitating a 6-foot path of travel, 2 new streetlights with pole boxes, conduit, and shadow conduit, a 4-foot furnishing zone, including 12 bike racks. We're maintaining the 3 existing trees. This includes a porous paver strip along with the irrigation. We are proposing 7.8 feet from back of curb to property line, but with this, we are proposing 2.5-foot pedestrian easement to facilitate the 6-foot path of travel. Moving on to Tyler Street. This consists of new granite curb, new cement sidewalk facilitating a 5-foot or greater than 5-foot path of travel, 1 new street light with pole boxes, conduit, and shadow conduit, a 3-foot furnishing zone consisting of 3 bike racks, 3 trees, a porous paver strip, and irrigation. Also proposing a mid-block loading ramp for dumpster drop-off. Along this will be a 60-foot pickup and drop-off area adjacent to the ramp. In this area, we're also proposing a 0.8-foot pedestrian easement to facilitate the path of 5-foot travel. This concludes the specific repairs for these 2 streets.
Thank you very much. Can you just confirm the maintenance responsibilities associated with the irrigation and any planted areas?
Angie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but LMI will be created for these areas.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
My question was just to confirm who will be taking on maintenance responsibility for the irrigation system and for any plantings made inside of a planted area. Obviously, there's some existing trees being retained, but it sounds like there's some new green elements being introduced in the public right-of-way, and I just want to understand whether the proponent will be executing an LMI to cover their responsibility to maintain those things.
I believe so, but I can confirm that.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. This is Chris Clemens with Golston and Stores, representing the proponent applicant here. There is indeed a draft LMI whereby the applicant will be maintaining these areas and these improvements. That document is currently under review, but it would provide that the applicant would maintain those irrigation items and all the other elements on the plans.
Okay, and will that LMI be executed by the developer, by the BPDA? Who's the responsible party?
By the developer. And then there'll be separately a grant of pedestrian easement that will obligate the developer to maintain the pedestrian easement areas, though that grant of pedestrian easement will be signed also by the BPDA as fee owner of that area.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for that clarification. Commissioners, other questions? All right, hearing none. PAC staff or members of the public?
All set.
All right, seeing no raised hands, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 2?
I'll make a motion to approve public hearing number 2 on a joint petition by Asian Community Development Corporation and the Boston Redevelopment Authority for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Boston Proper. Boston Proper consisting of curb and sidewalk reconstruction with structural soil, irrigation, infrastructure, bike racks, and curb cuts in Hudson Street and Tyler Street as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On to public hearing number 3 on a petition by Related Beal DBA RREF3, the Town Portfolio LLC, for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Charlestown, consisting of curb realignment and sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, specialty pavement, street lighting infrastructure, storm drain infrastructure, street trees, landscaping, and bike routes. Rutherford Avenue on its southwesterly side at addresses number 420 to 438, northwest of Bunker Hill Industrial Park, Bunker Hill Industrial Park, southwest of Rutherford Avenue, new business from July 27th, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repairs Plan Rutherford Avenue, Bunker Hill Industrial Park, 420 Rutherford Avenue, Charlestown, 2 sheets dated March 2023. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, give us a brief reintroduction to the proposed actions and any updates since your new business hearing.
Hello, everyone. I'm Will Grosvenor with Related Deal, representing ownership. We're here to present 420 Rutherford Avenue, which is a development of a 100,000 square foot lab building on Rutherford Avenue in Charlestown. I will turn it over to Deb Danik with Niche from there.
Thank you, Will. Hi, I'm Deb Danik with Niche Engineering. As Will mentioned, we're redeveloping the site at 420 Rutherford Avenue, which includes a new building. As part of the redevelopments on the private site, we're proposing to do improvements to Rutherford Avenue, which is on the northeast part of the site, and as well as Bunker Hill Industrial Park, which is more on the southern part of the site. When we look at the improvements on Rutherford Avenue, we're proposing to install new granite curb, porous paver strip, and cement concrete sidewalk. This can all fit within the public right-of-way and still provide a 7-foot wide pedestrian path of travel. Excuse me, this will be 10 feet wide. The improvements within Rutherford Avenue and the sidewalk have been closely coordinated with the BPDA and the BTD team for their future larger improvements that are happening in Rutherford Avenue in their design plan. As we wrap around the corner of the building to Bunker Hill Industrial Park, we're proposing a bit more robust improvements within this area. We will be providing a 7-foot wide cement concrete path of travel, which will be bounded on both sides by a tree near the curb, a blue bike parking station, and then closer to the building, we're gonna have intermixed some more trees and as well as some bicycle racks. Within that, we'll have the cement concrete sidewalk at 7 feet wide, new granite curb, and we're doing new accessible ramps and a driveway opening to a potential future road, which would connect to the Hood Park area. We have new ramping process through here to get pedestrians across this crossing. And we've also proposed new street lightings. We've coordinated closely with Boston Street Lighting. Currently, there's very minimal street lights on Bunker Hill Industrial Park. So we're proposing 3 new light poles and the relocation of 1 light pole and an adjustment of a street lighting cabinet to meet their current standards. With that, we also have a couple crosswalks, pedestrian crosswalks at Bunker Hill Industrial Park. One of the crossings has an existing compliant accessible ramp. The other one does not, so we will be reconstructing that to meet current compliance and our proposed alignment of the crossing. With that, those are the proposed improvements. And since last time we did receive some comments from the commission regarding this building is currently under construction. We sent some coordination, followed up with our contractors about accessibility and access to the sidewalks, as well as provided information relating to the sidewalk permits we have in place in the construction management plan. If there are any questions or comments, we are available.
Thank you very much. Just for clarification, the sidewalk across Bunker Hill Industrial Park in from Rutherford on the, whatever the direction is at the bottom of the drawing, and not seeing a ramp, or excuse me, a curb ramp or tactile warning, is that a pre-existing? I'm looking at the one in, yep, exactly there.
Yeah.
What is that crosswalk landing at?
There is an existing landing. There's an existing tactile panel. This
okay,
actually was reconstructed recently. Yep.
Okay, I see it now. I see the DWP.
Very small.
Yeah, there we go. Yep. Okay, all right. But that is confirmed to be in compliance.
Yep. When we did it, we can double check.
Okay.
Deb, can you just update the plan to call that out as compliant?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
And similar question to the previous business item with regard to landscaped area that's being created. What is the intended maintenance plan for that? And will there be an LMI in place to cover those responsibilities?
Yeah, so there will be an LMI in place Currently, the landscaped items that we have within the public way are the trees on Bunker Hill Industrial Park at the back of sidewalk and at the curb. We're still coordinating with Parks. They mentioned that they may take maintenance of that because we are proposing their standard tree pit as well as their standard trees, but they haven't confirmed that. If they don't confirm that, I'm pretty confident that the development team would take over maintenance of that in the LMI, but we can let Will confirm that.
That is confirmed, 100%.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the area that's shown as grass here is outside the public right-of-way?
Right here, there will be some grass, which is in the public right-of-way.
Okay, so that will also be included as a item to be maintained either by Parks or by the proponent?
Correct, yep.
Okay, great. Commissioners, other questions, comments? PIC staff, members of the public?
I think we're all set on this.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 3?
I make a motion to approve public hearing number 3 on a petition by Related Beal for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Charlestown: Rutherford Avenue and Bunker Hill Industrial Park, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to public hearing number 4 on a petition by 44 Ellery LLC for the widening and relocation of the existing right-of-way lines of Ellery Street Public Way, South Boston, located on its easterly side at address number 44, generally between Southampton Street and Boston Street. New business from July 27th, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Widening and Relocation Plan, 44 Ellery Street, Public Way, South Boston, one sheet dated August 8th, 2023. Would the petitioners please introduce themselves, their affiliations, give us a brief reintroduction for the project, and take us through this specific action that we are considering.
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners, and City staff. My name is George Moranci. I'm the attorney for the petitioners 44 Ellery Street LLC. These 3 petitions relate to an approved new 18-unit residential development project at 44 Ellery Street in South Boston. The first petition for the street widening, that is in response to a request by city officials to allow for a wider sidewalk and also future wider roadway conditions. This petition is to create the widening area, which is approximately 2 feet by approximately 100 feet, as shown here on the widening plan. Moving on to the pedestrian easement plan, there would be.
We can, George, I'm just going to interrupt you here. For the public hearing, we have to consider these each as separate actions, so we'll do one at a time.
Thank you.
All right, excellent. Commissioners, any questions or comments on the pedestrian easement?
Street widening, I believe this is.
I'm sorry, excuse me, street widening, thank you very much. Widening and relocation. PIC staff, members of the public?
All set?
All right, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 4?
Make a motion to approve public hearing number 4 on a petition by 44 Ellery LLC for the widening and relocation of the existing right-of-way lines of Ellery Street, South Boston, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to public hearing number 5 on a petition by 44 Ellery LLC for the acceptance of a pedestrian easement adjacent to Ellery Street Public Way, South Boston, located on its easterly side, generally at address number 44, generally between Southampton Street and Boston Street. New business from July 27th, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Pedestrian Easement Plan, 44 Ellery Street Public Way, South Boston, one sheet dated August 8th, 2023. Would the petitioner please reintroduce himself and give us an overview of this action?
This is George Moranci. I'm the attorney for the petitioner, 44 Ellery LLC. This is a related petition for a pedestrian easement in front of the site at 44 Ellery Street. The petition plan depicts a new 8-foot wide by approximately 50-foot wide pedestrian easement for purposes of increasing the sidewalk width and for the installation of future street trees.
Excellent. Commissioners? PIC staff or members of the public?
I do have one question on this, and George, I apologize for not noticing this earlier, but it looks like you have a building entry above a portion of the pedestrian easement area. Can you just confirm that that canopy is going to be at least 10 feet above finished grade?
That will be at least 10 feet above finished grade. We can call that out on the plan if you would like.
That'd be great. Thanks. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. No other questions. Do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 5?
I make a motion to approve public hearing number 5 on a petition by 44 Ellery LLC for the acceptance of a pedestrian easement adjacent to Ellery Street, South Boston, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to public hearing number 6 on a petition by 44 Ellery LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in South Boston, consisting of curb, sidewalk, and pedestrian ramp reconstruction, as well as new and relocated street trees and driveway curb cuts. Ellery Street on its easterly side, generally at address number 44, generally between Southampton Street and Boston Street. Southampton Street on its southerly side at Ellery Street, Boston Street on its westerly side at Ellery Street. New business from July 27th, and as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repair Plan, 44 Ellery Street, South Boston, one sheet dated August 8th, 2023. The proponents please reintroduce themselves and give us an overview of this action as well as any changes since your last hearing.
My name is George Moranci. I'm the attorney for the petitioners, 44 Ellery LLC. This third plan is also related to the new residential project at 44 Ellery Street. This specific repairs plan details the installation of a new 12-foot curb cut on Ellery Street servicing the building, the removal of existing cobblestone curbing on a portion of Ellery Street, installation of a new granite curb on a portion of Ellery Street, installation of 3-foot by 8-foot tree wells in front of the building, the installation of new ADA compliant pedestrian ramps at the 2 corners of Ellery Street's intersection with the easterly side of Southampton Street, which is westerly of the site. These pedestrian ramps would facilitate access to and from the MBTA's Andrew Station Red Line stop, which is located directly across Southampton Street. Finally, the specific repairs plan details the rebuilding to city standards of the sidewalks surrounding the 2 new pedestrian ramps and the striping of a new 10-foot wide crosswalk meeting city standards, which will cross Ellery Street. There have been no changes since the new business hearing.
Excellent. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Just for clarity, I do see on the agenda item that Boston Street is included in the list of streets affected by this. I'm not seeing anything on this plan affecting Boston Street.
I'm sorry.
Just want to confirm that there's no, there we go.
There will be a new painting of a crosswalk.
I got it, okay.
The other end of Ellery Street, sorry, I had it out of the picture.
Got it. All right, commissioners, any questions, comments? PIC staff, members of the public?
All set on this.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 6?
Make a motion to approve public hearing number 6 on a petition by 44 Ellery LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in South Boston: Ellery Street, Southampton Street, and Boston Street, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On to public hearing number 7 on a petition by TC Systems Incorporated for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduit with city shadow within Causeway Street, Public Way, Boston proper, located generally between Medford Street and North Washington Street / Endicott Street. New business from July 27th as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Granted Location Plan, Proposed Lateral Conduit Placement, Causeway Street, City of Boston, 4 sheets dated February 17th, 2023. The proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, give us a brief overview of this action and whether there has been any changes since your new business hearing.
Good morning, members of the PIC. My name is Erica Hudson from Sienna Engineering Group, representing TC Systems. As previously discussed, TC Systems is seeking grants of location on Causeway Street to place telecommunications conduit with no other participants. Starting on Causeway Street, we will be breaking out of Verizon manhole 1075, and the conduit will continue northeast through the intersection of Causeway Street and North Washington Street to Verizon manhole 1068, excuse me. The conduit will consist of 2 4-inch PVC conduits and 1 quad duct CD shadow, a total of approximately 346 feet. And during the new business hearing, there are questions regarding the timeline and restoration. The duration of work will only be for 1 day, and restoration will be on the day of construction as well. And we will make sure to restore the pavement to its current condition or better.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, questions, comments? PIC staff or members of the public?
All set on this.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 7?
I make a motion to approve public hearing number 7 on a petition by TC Systems Incorporated for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants within Causeway Street, Boston proper, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On to public hearing number 8 on a petition by Verizon New England Incorporated for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunication conduit with city shadow within the following public ways in Dorchester: Holmes Avenue between Draper Street and Mount Ida Road, Mount Ida Road southeast of Holmes Avenue. New business from July 27th as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Granted Location Plan, Verizon, Holmes Ave and Mount Ida Road, proposed conduit installation, 1 sheet dated January 2023. The proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and give us an overview of what's being proposed and any changes or updates since your new business hearing.
Hey, good morning. My name is Ross Bilodeau. I'm representing Verizon New England. I'm going to go ahead here and share my screen. Okay, we were looking to place 383 feet of underground conduit with city shadow from our existing manhole 11/319, which is located on Holmes Avenue, to an existing handhole placed by Crown Castle, located across from 93 Mount Ida Road, for the purpose of providing new services. I believe when this was presented to you last time, you had asked for pictures of the existing pavement, which we forwarded to you guys last week, August 3rd, it looks like. No further updates beyond that.
So thank you for the photos. Given the condition of the pavement along Mount Ida, which has had multiple utility cuts in recent years, would Verizon be willing to do a full resurface of that section of the street as part of this project?
Okay, I believe there has been some discussion about that already, and it's my understanding Verizon has no issues for the required paving.
And by required, you mean to repave the curb to curb for the extent of the stretch of Mount Ida that you will be impacting with this?
Yes, that's my understanding. Whatever you guys were asking for originally, then that's what we were willing to do.
Okay, that would be very much appreciated. The residents have endured multiple utility actions for telecom and other purposes here, and the road is in very poor condition, so we appreciate that. Commissioners, other questions, comments? PIC staff or members of the public?
No, we're all set. Thank you for sending along those site photos a few weeks ago. That was helpful.
No problem.
Do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 8?
Make a motion to approve on a petition by Verizon New England Incorporated for a grant of location within the following public ways in Dorchester: Holmes Avenue, Mount Ida Road, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to public hearing number 9 on a petition by Verizon New England Incorporated for a grant of location with lead company status and no participants to install new telecommunications conduit with city shadow within the following public ways in Roxbury: Seaver Street, generally at address number 246 southeast of Maple Street northeast of Seaver Street. New business from July 27th as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Grant of Location Plan. Verizon 246 Seaver Street proposed conduit installation, one sheet dated July 2023. The proponents please reintroduce themselves and give us an overview of this proposed action.
So once again, Ross Bilodeau representing Verizon New England. This is a public hearing for one that was presented a few weeks ago. Again, we're looking to place 263 feet of new conduit from an existing manhole 15 over 782, located in front of 258 Seaver Street to the intersection of Seaver Street and Maple Street. Then continue to place 91 feet of conduit on Maple Street to an existing handhole. I believe this one was placed by Extenet, correct? To an existing handhole on the side of 246 Seaver Street, again for the purposes of providing new services on Seaver Street. I know you guys were looking for pictures of this one as well, of the existing pavement, which we again forwarded to you a few weeks back.
Thank you very much. And just to confirm, I believe that Maple is a guaranteed street, recently repaved. It also is host to some BTD traffic signal loops. So I just want to confirm that we will follow all of our requirements for resurfacing and fully restoring guaranteed streets, as well as restoration of any BTD infrastructure, traffic signal infrastructure that's disrupted by this?
Yes, I can confirm that. Verizon had no issues with the required paving on this one as well.
Okay. All right, commissioners, questions, comments? PIC staff, members of the public?
All set.
Excellent. Do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 9?
Make a motion to approve public hearing number 9 on a petition by Verizon New England Incorporated for a grant of location within the following public ways in Roxbury: Seaver Street, Maple Street, as read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? So moved. Thank you very much. On to the new business section of our agenda. New business number 1, Charles Street at Beacon Street, Boston proper, granted location on a petition by Verizon New England Incorporated. Would the proponents please reintroduce themselves and give us an overview of this proposed action?
Sure. Once again, Ross Bilodeau representing Verizon New England. Verizon is proposing 857 feet of new conduit on Charles Street, starting from an existing manhole 492, located in the intersection of Beacon Street and Charles Street, and extending south on Charles Street for 117 feet from an intercept A we're going to place 65 feet to a future handhold to be placed by Extenet on the westerly side of Charles Street. And then continuing from intercept A, we're going to place 63 feet to intercept B, to a future hole, again placed by Extenet on the westerly side of Charles Street. Continuing along from intercept B, we're going to place 610 feet to a future handhold to be placed by Extenet on the westerly side of Charles Street. Again, this is for the purpose of providing new services on Charles Street. So if I follow my plan here we are in our existing manhole, down to intercept A, cross to the future handhold by Extenet, intercept A to B, again across to Extenet, and carrying on to sheet 2, to the final point, and sweeping across to the final future handhold placed by Extenet.
Thank you very much. Has there been any coordination with the Boston transportation teams or the SPEEDS team that is planning the Public Gardens crossings improvements? There's a number of changes anticipated to the large crosswalk in between the Public Garden and the Common, sort of in the middle of that Charles Street block, as well as some changes to the Charles and Beacon intersection. Has there been a review and discussion with them?
I am not privy to that information, but I can certainly find out and get that back to you.
Okay. Yeah, I would ask that you share these plans with that team, and Todd can provide a point of contact as needed, and confirm that nothing in here will be disruptive to or incompatible with the work that they have planned there.
Very good, thank you.
Other commissioners, other comments or questions?
We just want to confirm with the proponent that special attention is paid to the construction management and detouring of pedestrians, and just ensuring that ADA compliance and safety is maintained, given that this area is pretty busy at most hours of the day.
Yes, of course.
I would add to that in the construction management plan, it should address for the laterals that are going across the bike lane, that there be a appropriate diversion for bicycles traveling along Charles Street. If necessary, temporary removal of parking spaces and a staging that allows a safe path, continuous protected path to travel for bicycles, so that they're not being diverted into a general purpose travel lane alongside vehicles.
Okay, sure.
Other commissioners, other questions? PIC staff or members of the public?
We've discussed this both internally and externally, but just want to confirm that this plan is replacing a similar plan which Verizon had approved by this commission last year. My understanding is that they are abandoning that previously approved plan, and this work is going to take their place.
Okay, short time. This is what they gave me to present, so I'm saying that this is moving forward with, as the new plan.
Yeah, I spoke with Karen at Verizon and a couple others, and I believe that they confirmed what I just said, so okay. I think we're all set. Wanted to put on record.
All right, hearing nothing else, will you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on August 24th?
Yes.
All right, we will see you back then for this. On to new business number 2, 16 South Sydney Street, Savin Hill Avenue, Dorchester, granted location on a petition by Verizon New England Incorporated. Would the petitioners please reintroduce himself and give us an overview of what is proposed here?
Of course. Once again, Ross Bilodeau representing Verizon New England. Verizon is proposing 279 feet of new conduit from an existing manhole 11 over 238, which is located at the northeasterly corner of the intersection of Sydney Street and Seven Hill Road to an existing externate handhold located across the street from 25 South Sydney Street for the purpose of providing new services on South Sydney Street. So again, here we are, our existing manhole, Seven Hill in Sydney. Just then down the road here to the externate handhold.
Thank you very much, commissioners. All right, hearing nothing from the other commissioners, I guess one item I want to confirm, this is a crosswalk. You'll be cutting through a couple of crosswalks located very close to a train station, transit station, and I believe a school further down South Sydney. I just want to confirm that you'll be fully restoring all of the crosswalk markings that may be impacted by this trenching project.
Sure, I can confirm that that can be done.
Excellent. All right, PAC staff, any comments, questions?
All set on this one.
All right, will you be ready for your hearing in 2 weeks on the 24th?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll see you then. And last but not least, new business number 3, D Street at 135 Old Colony Avenue, South Boston, granted location on a petition by Verizon New England Incorporated. Would the petitioner please reintroduce himself yet again and give us an update on, or give us an overview of what is proposed here?
Sure. Once again, Ross Bilodeau representing Verizon New England. Verizon is proposing 546 feet of new conduit from an existing manhole 33 over 211, which is located at the front, in front of 25D Street, continuing down to 135 Old Colony Avenue, where we'll enter private property for the purpose of providing new services on Old Colony Ave. So here's our existing manhole, D Street, continuing down and coming across to the private property where it will be picked up by the private property owner in their project.
I believe, I'm remembering this part of Old Colony correctly, that there's a median of some kind here. Is that going to be impacted by the path of this conduit across Old Colony, or is that not impacted here?
I'm not sure, but I can certainly find out for you in later.
I'm seeing this. It doesn't look like you're crossing Old Colony here. So, okay. Right. That was my only question.
I can certainly double check.
Yeah. Yeah. Just confirm when you come back for your public hearing if there is any impact to median or cobbles or anything like that. Just let us know your intent when it comes to restoration. Sure. I'm not seeing that on the plan here, but please do confirm. Commissioners, any questions, comments?
I think in that same vein, we just want to confirm that the pedestrian ramp at that intersection, if it is impacted, that it will be restored, or if there is a larger sidewalk project, information on that.
Okay, I can confirm that as well.
All right. Hearing no other questions from the commission, PIC staff or members of the public?
One thing that's worth mentioning, this location, it looks like you're going to damage some traffic signal loop detectors. I know BTD is not on the hearing today, but that's definitely something that you'll want to address. Those will need to be restored after the work is completed, and you can work with BTD on getting those back up and running.
Sure.
right, will you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on August 24th?
Yes, sir, no problem.
All right, we will see you then. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you for your time today.
Yep. And that concludes our brief agenda. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
And make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See you all in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, 2 weeks.